In this presentation, we will take a look at the federal income tax, considering the percentage method versus using the tables within QuickBooks Online. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info. Here we are in our practice file. You can follow along in your own company file or use the QuickBooks free file, which you could find typing in Google searching QuickBooks Test Drive. We'll go down to the Workers tab for the payroll information. When considering the percentage method and the tables that can be used to calculate taxes, we think about that from a manual perspective. We think about how do we calculate the FIT. If we were to do this manually, we would take the information for the marital status, we would take the exemptions, we would take the pay period, we would look up the tables usually. However, if the payroll is too high, which is usually the purpose when we can't use the tables, which would be the easier option, then we have to use what we would call the percentage method. So we won't go through those calculations here. We'll just want to note that how important it is, how nice it is, that QuickBooks can basically make those determinations for us. If we give them the information, the marital status, the number of exemptions, and the pay period, as well as the pay amounts, then QuickBooks can make that determination. And what would then happen within QuickBooks is just good to note within QuickBooks, if you have an employee such as a hourly employee, as these two are, then QuickBooks will use, in essence, the tables to calculate the pay. If you wanted to verify the calculation for these two items, then we can go to their payroll, we can look up their paycheck, and we can consider the monthly pay period, the number of exemptions, and we can look up tables and of course the pay for that period, and then we can look up the table and figure out the FIT and match it up to what has been calculated through QuickBooks. If we had someone such as Judy Jones here that makes more or makes a significant amount of money that may be over the cap that we can then use the tables for, we would then have to verify this number, which QuickBooks does for us as we process payroll for Judy by using the percentage method. And QuickBooks will, of course, being an automated system, do those calculations for us. So this is great because we note that QuickBooks does it for us and it's easy in that sense. But we still have to have some idea of the complication that goes behind that, because if we want to explain how it is that we got to the FIT kind of deduction, we want to have some idea of what's happening. And if we want to actually completely verify it, then we can go with an employee that has a lower rate typically and go through the tables and look that up to kind of verify to ourselves what QuickBooks is doing. And then if we had a higher employee calculation of rate, then we would want to use the percentage method and we can kind of verify what QuickBooks is doing. Of course, QuickBooks having the knowledge to know when to apply the tables and when to apply the percentage method if we give QuickBooks the information to do so. Then to test this, we can go to the accounting on the left side and take a look at a couple different paychecks just to see what the paychecks look like. If we then go to view the register, we would consider a couple different paychecks. If we scroll down to the month of January in our example, we'll see that Judy Jones here is the owner, in our case, who gets paid a significant amount and therefore probably is on the percentage method calculation, whereas our other two employees, Beth and Anthony, are on hourly and would have a table method. So if we were to look up these items and edit the detail of these items, we would then see the payroll calculations down here. So if I scroll down, we see the FIT calculations. We can verify this number by checking it, basically recalculating it for ourselves using tables, using the gross pay and the marital status and the exemptions. If I close this back out, go back to accounting, go back to our chart of accounts, and go back to our checking account, and then scroll down, and we were to go to Judy Jones and select this item and edit it, then we can go through the information for Judy Jones, and we would go down and note the federal income tax calculation here. QuickBooks still does it for us, but to verify this number, we would go through the number of exemptions, marital status, and be using the percentage method, most likely, to double check this number. So that's going to be, again, one of the huge benefits that QuickBooks does is to make those kind of determinations for us with regard to federal income tax, which is a complicated tax to calculate. Just because we calculated it, though, doesn't mean we're never going to have to explain it or try to explain why it is what it is. And so that complication still, of course, causes us some problem in that sense. But the fact that QuickBooks calculates it for us, that's one of the huge factors that we're paying for with QuickBooks Paid Payroll. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info.